So I'm just looking at myself back on the screen here and realise that this whole this whole thing looks like a Jeremy Fragrance dream sequence. Anyway, I will press on. I was thinking that this last decade, and you know, I know technically the last year of a decade would be, in this case, 2020, but I'll count from 2010 to 2019. I was wondering, I'm going to make a statement and say that there's probably never been more perfume releases in any given decade than there was in this last 10 years. And I can't back that up with numbers, but given how many, new niche brands have popped up, new indie brands, it wouldn't surprise me at all. Add to that all the extra designer releases and flanker mania that there's been over the last 10 years. I'm going to be pretty confident that that's the case. So what I decided to do is have a look at my perfume wardrobe, have a look at years of release. So starting from 2010, and I'm going to pick my favorite from each year of the last decade. I'll tell you what I did notice before I start naming them is that the years, my wardrobe has got the most representation from the release years 2011 and 2017. So, I mean, all that tells me really is that in terms of my taste, there seem to be a lot more releases that I liked in those years. And then there was a couple of years where it was the opposite, and my wardrobe is quite underrepresented. That's 2014 and 2016. And I don't think there's any particular pattern there. Like, some years are good, some years are bad. But what I want to know at the end of this video is, especially for those of you who have been collecting for a long time, whether you think that there was a better decade. A lot of people get nostalgic for, especially guys get nostalgic for 80s powerhouse fragrance and decades pre-IFRA regulations and reformulations and whatnot. So I'd be interested to hear your thoughts. Anyway, let's start. So I'm going to start from 2010. And in terms of my wardrobe, again, so I'm not talking about anything that was released in 2010, just whatever I own. So from the year 2010, I can't go past Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Absolute pour le Soir. It is a top, consistently top 5 fragrance for me. And for any of these perfumes that I have done a review for, I'll put a link in the description as well. 2011, again, this was a very highly represented year for me, but I can't go past one of my all-time favorites from Diptyque, and that's 34 Boulevard Saint-Germain. I have a review for that one as well. Now in 2012, currently my most worn fragrance basically, and it is from Christian Dior Eau Sauvage Parfum, and given that it's already been formulated within the same decade it's been released, this is going to be more treasured for me as the years go by and the bottle starts to whittle down to nothing. 2013, this I have not done a review of. This is from Amouage, and this one is Fate Woman or Fate for Women. I'm not exactly sure how they name them. Anyway, Amouage does in most of their perfumes a masculine version and a female version, or marketed to either gender. But Fate Woman is just something else. Very special perfume, and I'll be doing a review of that one very, very soon. 2014 is one of those years where even though I like this fragrance, really there was not much choice other than Frank Bocklett's tobacco. It is my favourite perfume in this style, in this sweet tobacco style. Like, I prefer it to things like Tom Ford's Tobacco Vanille and Pure Havane. And I have not done a review of this one either, so I'll do one in the new year. 2015, what do I have here? 2015, I chose Papillon Artisan Perfumeries Salome. I have a review of this one. I'll link it in the description below. 2016, again, it was a pretty barren year as far as I was concerned with stuff released in that year, but I'm gonna go for a relative cheapie, and this one continues to grow on me each time I wear it, and it's from the designer house Zadig and Voltaire, and This Is Him. Look, a lot of people will find this synthetic, even a bit screechy, but somehow for me it works very well on my skin. 2017, my current number one fragrance, it couldn't be anything other than Under My Skin from Francesca Bianchi. 2018, this house I actually only discovered in the last 12 months, but this was released in 2018. It is Dervish from Rogue Perfumery from the United States. I have done a review of this one recently, in fact. It's lovely, difficult to describe. I know there's, like, you get vanilla, you get leather, but what I really love about this one is that it's quite unique, and for me, gives me very personal scent associations to my childhood. And finally, we come to 2019, and it's safe to say that this was pretty much, for me, only between two fragrances. Another Francesca Bianchi, which was Etruscan Water, but I think it's pretty clear that my favourite release from 2019 has been Ganymede from Marc-Antoine Badoise. I will do a review of this one also shortly. Probably it won't be uploaded until after Christmas, or more likely in early January. But that was the decade. I'm curious to see where trends go in the next 10 years, whether my own taste will start to. I suspect I'm already doing it, where I'm looking when I'm looking at new perfumes to add to my wardrobe. I'm kind of looking back rather than seeing what's being that interested in what's coming out, because it's safe to say, especially in the last 12 months, that I have probably only liked, and might be being generous, I've probably only liked 10% of everything new that I've smelled. And that could be just me becoming more picky or fussy, I guess, or knowing better what I like, probably is more the case. And who knows? I have a growing interest in looking at more classics, or at least in the style of classics. And I don't know. There seems to be a bit of sameness about a lot of releases coming out. But maybe it's just hit saturation point and things will change. Who knows? But I'd be interested in your opinions, comments. Other than that, I'll see you next time.